anything could happen to any fucking driver at any goddamn split second. I mean, I'm not even talking a second. I'm talking split goddamn fucking second. Peter. Walsh. Oh, well, we're back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And now I know I've had some pre-recorded podcasts, but I've just come back from a holiday in Kusadasi in Turkey. And now, today we're going to talk about the Singapore Grand Prix. And apologies, guys, because normally as you know, I put out my podcast preview on the Thursday or the Friday before it. Now, today you'll get it late here on the Friday, but I had 21 hours travelling back from Kusadasi. 21 hours to Ireland, Cork in Ireland. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, I can get to Vegas and back in that fucking time. Crazy shit. Anyway, like, we're gonna talk about Singapore today now, guys. I'm delighted to be getting back into it here, the usual. But wait until you hear about that. I'm gonna be doing an episode on Kusadasi very, very soon, guys. Stay tuned for that one because like even the like everything from we had all sorts of drama from a guy actually trying to get into a fight with an air host and pushing him around and causing mayhem, gets arrested getting off the plane as we land in Kusadasi, followed by me going into a taxi in my bare feet and had to go down into the town of Kusadasi because I had to go into a shoe shop in my bare feet because I had no fucking runners because they got stolen. Yeah, that's right. And I mean, there's just plenty more stories. And I'm going to go through all that anyway, guys, very, very soon. So stay tuned for my Kusadasi story. But anyway, today we're going to be checking out Singapore. Guys, it's a great track. Last year, Perez, he took the win. The cool thing, and let me just open up, guys, for you. I'm going to share my screen here with you. The great thing about Singapore is it's a street circuit, number one, as many of you probably know. But also, we'll just hear the driver standings for you guys. But also, if this track gets wet, holy shit, is it a shit show. I mean, anything could happen to any fucking driver at any goddamn split second. I mean, I'm not even talking a second, I'm talking split goddamn fucking second. I mean, we're going to go through a pole lap here now, okay? You're going to see how bumpy it is. Like, even on a pole lap, the driver could mess up 2 or 3 times in corners, still get the pole. Now, that doesn't mean that, oh, well, everybody else must be shit. That's not the case. Everybody just struggles around this track to keep the car balanced. I mean, you could go from oversteer, snap oversteer, into understeer. I mean, the car will just fucking almost not even understeer or oversteer. It can go from just sliding off the track. I mean, and if it's raining on this weekend, I mean, it's great for us, but sucks for them. So we're going to go through that in a few moments, guys. So let's look at the driver standings here. Dear God, look at this, guys. Look at this. I mean, Verstappen, 364 in the lead. Perez, 219. Heavy math. What is that, Peter? 145. 145. Now, Japan is coming up next. And if everything goes according to Verstappen here, Verstappen could take the win of the championship in Japan. And there's how many races to go? Let me just double check here now, guys. Because I think this is one of the what would you say? The easiest championships ever that someone's ever won here. Let me just have a look there now, guys. I'm just trying to see it. I think there's... Oh, look, we'll come back to it. I think there's like 8 fucking races to go. I mean, we've got a long way to go in the championship. I mean, at this stage, you'd want to have people coming battling tooth and nail. You want to have at least 3 drivers competing for the championship. And then by maybe the 3rd round or the 2nd last round, it would come, you know, that 3rd guy would sort of have a bad accident, or it would just, the other 2 would just flake off into the distance, and then you'd be left with 2. I mean, sometimes it can go down to that, but this is just pure domination by Verstappen. Now, I know, guys, and and I'm sorry for you, even though I've done nothing here, but I mean, it sucks because I know some people are getting just a little bit bored with Formula 1, not many. I would say like maybe 5% of people that have said it to me. So I know there's loads of enthusiasts out there because it is great. It's still, I mean, Netflix Drive to Survive, and I know I keep going on about the fucker. It is unbelievable. If you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor and watch it because it's unbelievable. And I mean, Singapore, even Imola 2 weeks ago, that was great. It was a great race. It was thrilling from start to fucking finish. It was unreal. It was an F1 race we wanted to see. So hopefully Singapore will bring some surprises. I would say you can bank on it. It's gonna bring some surprises, guys, because holy hell, this track it's a beast. And it's got the scenery, it's got the nighttime race. It's fucking awesome. But you know what? I'm looking at some news here about Vettel coming back. Let's go and let's just get onto the onboard lap, shall we? And let's do this because I want to show you, actually just very, very quickly, I'm going to show you just where I think the important parts of the track are. Okay, so this, just very quickly, this is the track map here. You can see there's so many bends. There's up to 19 bends. And it's anti-clockwise. So if you're watching on YouTube, guys, you can see now, I'm obviously going to try and keep explaining this if you're listening on Spotify or Apple. 1, 2, and 3. Now, to me, guys, they are 3 separate corners, but this is the most important part of the track. I definitely think this, and I'll tell you why. Because turn 1, you go in, you keep it over to the left-hand side, and we're going to see this now on the onboard, and then you need to plant the throttle from between 1 through 2, and then you brake for number 3. Now, it's such a small little fucking minuscule movement of the throttle between 1 and 2 to keep the shoe down. And if you can keep the shoe down, you gain, I honestly reckon you'll gain 2/10 here. Because it's hard to keep the car balanced anyway through 1 and 2, but if you can, then you can get more power on. If you get more power on, you're going to probably kick 95% of the guys' ass. And here, and the last part of this, if you get a good run through 2, you come up to 3, and you just shoe it all the way down this next straight, and then you're coming down about 3 gears into turn 5, and then you've got a big, long straight down into 7. Now, as I always say, guys, we're going to go on with Charles Leclerc here now, so let me get this ready. Now, before I start, when I always say the important parts of the track, guys, when they're talking on Formula 1, I never understand this because they say, oh, he took that corner really well. Well, he should be taking the corner really well, asshole. It's his fucking job. Now, I understand that there's different setups on cars. Cars are better through different corners, but you've got to get on the limit for the car that you have. So, in other words, let me just give you an example just before we get into it, guys. If you've got a car that's capable of doing 100 miles an hour, let's say, through a turn. Okay, so it's like a medium speed corner. So let's say it's in 6th gear, right? And they're accelerating through and it's 100 miles an hour. And they top it at 100. Now, that's cool. But let's say there's a better car that comes along and that better car can go through at 102. And it's because they've got a bit better traction or grip or whatever type of grip, mechanical or aero, doesn't matter. But now, all of a sudden, if that car who can do 102 through that corner, all of a sudden, if that guy comes along and he goes through at 100 and let's say 100, and he's just not performing, and all of a sudden he starts pushing the car properly as he should, and he starts going through at 102. People then on the presenters go, oh my god, that's amazing, holy shit, he took that really well. Well, actually, dickhead, no, he didn't, because that's exactly what the car can do, and he should be fucking doing it. Do you get what I mean, guys? Like, we always have to push ourselves always, always, always to our potential. And that's the way I look at it. So anyway, so I think when it comes down to analysing and breaking down the corners, guys, they should be taking those corners at their perfect line. They should be going through that third gear, fourth gear corner and getting a good run onto the straight and maximising as best as the car can do down that straight and into the next braking point. So that's the way it is. Okay, so let's go, guys. So we're on board with Charles Leclerc. And this is his pole lap. So here we go, down the main straight here now. Now, did you hear that, guys? Hopefully I'm not too loud here on the, especially for audio. I've seen that now where the audio is just a little bit too high. But okay, here we're going into 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now he's coming from 8th. I think he's coming into 3rd. I'll just double check there now. He's got to get it in. Keep the shoe in that right-hander. That's the key. And then keep the car balanced and get into that left-hander and down that straight. So it's turn 2, guys. Watch now. Turn 2 is the key here. He's got to keep the throttle on. Okay, see that? I'm just going to turn it up for you guys. Sorry, 1 second now. And I'm going to try not to talk over it. Okay, here we go. Do you hear that? He kept the throttle on. Now there's some guys, and it's not their fault, it's just the car can be unbalanced, so when they go through turn 1, the car's not riding over as smoothly as another quick car. So if it's not smooth and balanced, some of the drivers unfortunately have got to kind of lift, or they can't even just give it that extra little speed, right? So they've got to lift off and shit, and then eventually get back on the power. So Leclerc has got quite a well-balanced car going through here. So let's go. Here we go. Now, all the way down, he's carried the speed from there, all the way down, coming out of turn 3, all the way down to here. And that's what he should be doing. Okay, let's keep going. Can you hear that, guys? He's going down this long straight here, right? And, oh, by the way, just to let you know, I'm going to pause and start again, but I don't want to talk as the car is going, because I've heard the audio and interference. It's almost like two people talking over each other on a podcast, which sounds fucking awful. So I'm going to just, either I talk or the engine's going to keep going, okay? And then if I'm going to talk, I'm going to pause. But did you hear that? The car goes... right? That's the car bouncing off the ground. So yes, the car is their ride height, which is the distance between the floor and the actual surface, right? So they keep them low as possible. It goes through technically goes through the air better, and you should be faster. So they keep it as low as they can to the ground. But the problem is, this is a street circuit, and there's so many bumps that it can unbalance the car. So sometimes you might even have to raise the ride height because you're going all over the place. So let's go. So did you hear that, guys? So for the next straight, I'm going to pause it and we'll so let's keep going. Yes. Now you see the way he's got to really keep that balanced. I mean, he's got a little bit of understeer. I'll just go back a small bit. He's got a little bit of understeer coming out of that corner, but it was enough to just keep going. But I mean, if that was another track, if you had that kind of understeer, you'd be losing fucking time here. But this is just such a beast of a track. So there we go. Oh, see the way he's just struggling. That car is just bouncing around the place. Fuck. Oh, do you see that, guys? If you're watching, Jesus. Poor bastard. This guy's having, I mean, this is it's just fucking disaster. Let's watch that again. He's got snap oversteer coming out here. I mean, and this is a pole lap. So like I was saying, guys, A fucking pole lap, massive snap oversteer. Everybody's struggling. Let's watch. The scars are still all over the place. Do you hear that again? That off the ground? That's the car bouncing off the ground. Now, in fairness, it's actually quite stable out the back here. So Ferrari've done a good job here for now. I mean, it's bumpy pretty much everywhere on this fucking track, but it's doing very well over the bumps. The key to this track is balance and getting over those bumps. I mean, even if you've got to sacrifice something on your car to just keep the balance, you know, that you don't fall off the rail, so to speak. That's the key around this place. And obviously turn 1, 2, and 3, but you know, that's what kind of setup you'd be going for on the fucking car. Nearly hit the wall there, did you see that? And there we go. So yeah, guys, I mean, there you go. It's just like it's a beast of a fucking track. It really is. We're I mean, I think, if anything, like, by the way, guys, while I'm recording this, practice 1 has just commenced, for this weekend. So, like I said, I'm running a little bit late here, but you'll get to hear this. So, at the moment, for practice 1, Leclerc and Sainz are number 1 and 2, and Verstappen is number 3. So it's Ferrari are back up there again. I mean, I don't get where this is going here with Ferrari. What's going on with them? What's going on? Like, I don't get it. They're nowhere. Then they're right up there in Monza. Then they're fucking nowhere again. Then they're back up again. Very strange. I can't predict for Ferrari. I really can't. I don't know what's going on. But interesting news, guys. It cannot be underestimated. Alonso gives his verdict on potential F1 comeback for Vettel. Vettel may be coming back to Formula 1. Well, I mean, I've got to admit, guys, I understand where he's coming from. You know, as a race driver, when you do retire, you don't even fucking know yourself anymore. Like, you don't. And actually, you don't know yourself. Genuinely, you don't know yourself. Like, as in, you know yourself of the balls, the adrenaline, the focus that you can have. That part you do know of yourself, yes. But what about normal life? Because, I mean, I'll admit it, guys, it's fantasy land. Like a lot of sports are, right? Now, don't get me wrong, it's fucking hard work. Formula 1 and motor racing and tennis and rugby, football, you know, to make it to the top. It's horrendously hard work. But it still is fantasy land. I mean, if you think about it, right? You're working all this time and effort to beat someone. I mean, it's all based on our ego. I would imagine. Yes, actually, every fucking sport in the world is all to do with our egos. I want to win, makes me feel good, and that's it. I mean, it's ridiculous. But hey, I mean, I'm not taking anything away, because it's still great too. Excuse me, guys. So, I understand where Vettel's coming from. He's lost. He doesn't know where the fuck he's going. He's been in the spotlight for so many years. Yeah, I can definitely see him. I mean, you can see here, like, you've got Mansell, Raikkonen, Alonso, Niki Lauda, Alan Prost. They came back to Formula 1. because, well, they miss it. And more importantly, they miss that side of themselves. And that's the hard thing, but it'll be interesting to see if he does come back, huh? I'm wondering now, will he actually do it? Okay, let's have a look. Is there any other news? Let's see. I'll keep an eye on. Sorry, no, guys. You know what? I actually didn't have enough time. I literally hurled myself back to the studio here to record because I got in late from Kusadasi. Everything was just crazy. You know what? We're just going to leave it there. There's not much really actually has happened since Imola, Monza 2 weeks ago. Okay, predictions. Now, we're obviously going to be back on Monday, okay, with the reaction from Singapore. The great thing about watching Singapore, guys, is that it's very humid for the drivers. I mean, they are going to be losing an insane amount of weight. And not only that, it's a long race. It's a bumpy track. It really is. It's a real challenge to them. Now, this is what they're fucking paid for anyway. Don't even get me started. But this is what we're dealing with, you know? So I think it's going to be an interesting one. I'm going to go with, even though at the moment, now again, guys, please, like I've said before about practice, the importance of practice, etc. on my previous podcast episodes, don't pay attention much to the practice 1 and 2, even practice fucking 3. It gives you an idea, yes, but when the bullshit stops is in qualifying 3 with 2 minutes to go. That's when you know if a guy is actually fast or not. Yes, you can have an idea. I mean, I even wouldn't bank on anything at qualifying 1 and 2 because they still have to go through qualifying 3. It'll give you an idea, but it's never the final job, you know? So let's see what happens, but I'm going to go Verstappen for the win this weekend. And he's going to be so close to winning the championship. It come down to one last round. Perez won here last year, but Verstappen had a nightmare last year. I think it's going to be Verstappen to take the win. I could see Perez coming in second, and I'm going to go with, even though I don't think Ferrari got the legs for this, but you know what, I'm going to go with Sainz. Verstappen 1, Perez 2, Carlos Sainz 3rd. Well, will or not? We'll see. It'll be interesting to see though. So, yeah, excited to win this race, guys. It's going to be great. It's tough. Humidity's huge for this. That car as much as even put it on hold. We're going to probably make up for 4 mistakes. Wait, circuit's a monster. Definitely keep an eye on it, guys. It's going to be a roller coaster. So, guys, thanks for listening, and we'll be back on Monday with the reaction from Singapore. Cheers, guys. Hello? Peter. Wow.